All right.
Welcome to Whiskey Vault. Daniel, Rex, Bottle.
Hang on, I haven't made it that far yet. I was photographing things.
Tastes like whiskey. Monsho?
Monsho.
Oh,
Monsho?
where's this from?
Well.
Hold on.
I mean,
It says peated pure malt. Oh, is this Japanese?
yeah,
You usually hear about pure malt in Japanese. But is it sourced Scotch in a Japanese kind of pure malt label? Okay, I just saw a label for 2 seconds and I'm guessing.
Yeah, so we don't know. I searched for a good 30 minutes this morning.
Okay.
Trying to find anything.
Yeah.
Anything about this other than what it says right there. And the answer is no. Everywhere you go, they just cut and pasted that.
So what does it say?
It says, Monsho means crest in Japanese. Monsho whiskey pays tribute to family, tradition, and history. This pure malt whiskey is smooth and flavorful.
Look.
This is a gift from magnificent bastard Nathan Pilgrim.
Nathan Pilgrim, you magnificent
Bastard.
We don't know anything about it.
Can you? I haven't noticed it yet. Can you think of more generic, inane tribute to like family and what is it, tradition and history?
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
They might as well be releasing a bourbon.
Right.
Well, a Dage's old family recipe, pre-prohibition.
Right.
It's like depending on where you are in the world, you use a different set of go-to bullshit.
Old family recipe.
Yeah.
If it was in the States, they'd say heritage.
Heritage, yeah. In Scotland, it's going to be generational.
Everybody says tradition though.
Tradition. They all do say tradition. Yeah.
Although, you know what would have been a baller move?
Tradition.
You know what would have been a baller move?
What?
The Lorem Ipsum.
Oh yeah. Shoot.
This pays tribute to Lorem Ipsum.
It smells like
Wow, it's peated. Definitely
Peated.
Wow. Oh,
apple.
I'm gonna tell you, I like the peat.
Well, it smells like a peated Scotch, actually.
It's an interesting combination of peaty smokiness and then like a candy, sugary sweetness.
Cereal. It's
Okay.
sugared cereal. It's
Interesting.
when you get those cereals that are plain until you spoonful of sugar over it. Like you dust.
Yeah.
Like Rice Krispies or like what's another generic one?
It's kind of like if you crumbled a dried earthy bacon over a sugary kid cereal.
Yeah, burnt bacon
Yeah.
with the marshmallows. It definitely has those dusty marshmallows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds weirdly great. All right.
Bacon and marshmallow cereal.
Yeah. Then you melt the marshmallows on the bacon. That could be good.
Well, it smells like a... So I want to talk about the term pure malt in a second.
Okay. I'm not mad at the nose. I'm kind of excited to get into it.
No, I mean, I'm partially annoyed just because it's like, come on.
Right.
Is this even Japanese?
No.
Taste it. It just tastes like peated Scotch. And we don't even know if it's a...
And that's kind of young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly grainy malt.
Grainy, kind of young, and there's... What kind of sweetness is that? Is that floral?
No, it's fruity. It's definitely fruity.
What kind of fruit are you thinking?
Candy apple. Candy red apple. I like it. Okay, so if I was poured this blind and didn't get to see any of the bullshit,
I'd say kind of a young peated Scotch.
I would think a young peated Scotch that's actually kind of tasty.
Yeah, it's teased out more sweetness than typically what I expect going into like an Islay or something, where it's just going to be layers upon layers hiding the sweeter elements, but the sweeter elements right there underneath that peaty layer.
Yeah, the peat isn't like a shortcut to drama. It's got character. It's more Highland than Island peat.
Okay.
So it's got more of that like foresty.
So how would you describe the difference between the two kinds of peat?
To me, one is more ashy and smoke drift and briny and sharp, and one is more the fire itself and meaty and hefty and weighty.
Can I tell you?
That's a very weird dichotomy in my head. But
Can I tell you this right now? I'm having a very weird experience because I'm kind of annoyed at the whole ambiguousness of the situation.
Yeah.
The drink itself,
Oh, it's great.
it's fun.
Actually, the whiskey's really good.
I like it. I really like it. So what were you saying about pure malt?
So pure malt back in Scottish history.
The youngness, though. Grading on the curve of youngness. Go ahead.
I haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
Let's talk history for a second.
Okay. If you say
This is
anything
early
about
days.
if you say anything about taxes, I will bite your face off.
No, but the Scottish Whiskey Association does play a part.
Because really quick, like
Bite your face off?
bite your face off. It's like, oh,
Seems a
whiskey
little
history. This is
aggressive.
going to be like great and cool. And, there's going to be claymores involved, and battles with druids.
It's all
and
taxes,
then, no, it's
government.
all fucking taxes.
Government
It's just
taxes.
80% of whiskey history is just taxed bullshit.
Government and
That's not
regulation
cool.
and
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, politics. Okay,
Needs more
so
druids.
back in the day, pure malt was sort of a synonym of single malt,
Okay.
right? I mean, a long time ago, and it sort of went by the wayside. But there was no legal definition of the word pure malt like there was single malt, where it had to be one distillery, right? So there was a certain time when Johnny Walker was promoting Cardew as a single malt whiskey,
Yeah.
and it exploded in popularity primarily in Spain. And they started running out of malt because they needed to hold a bunch of the malt for Johnny Walker because Cardew is the primary
Right.
malt for Johnny Walker,
Yeah.
right? But they wanted to keep releasing malt, single malt, right? Or malt whiskey, 12-year-old Cardew
Yeah.
in all the places it was exploding.
Yeah.
So this is Diageo.
Yeah.
They started mixing malts. And then they changed the label from single malt to pure malt because pure malt was a non-regulated term.
I don't think that word means what
Yeah.
you think it means.
They didn't change anything else.
So it is basically, because it's not regulated, you start
Yeah.
saying pure malt. But what people associate with the word pure
Is single.
is very at odds with what you're actually doing with
Yeah.
whiskey.
So it became it became a blended malt.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old blended malt
Yeah.
released as Cardew, specifically the distillery, the name of the distillery on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's about as misleading as you can get.
Yeah.
Now they tried to argue, whatever. Now here's the funny thing: it's both. Like I agree with them, but also it's like, come on.
Right.
William Grant and Sons led the charge to
Right.
be like, you must.
So basically, it comes down to one of these situations where you're right technically, but in principle.
No, that's not where I'm going with that.
Come on.
Yeah, no, they fucked it up.
That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. Like technically,
I agree.
pure malt, I get what you're doing, but in principle,
Definitely shady.
like, yeah.
So William Grant and Sons led the charge.
Okay.
Now, here's the irony. It was presented in the media as this mom and pop shop because William Grant and Sons is one of the only companies still family owned and not corporate owned in that whole scenario. So it was presented as a sort of like small family mom and pop trying to fight the big bad wolf of Diageo who's muddying the waters. William Grant and Sons is massive.
Yeah.
Right. It was not a mom and pop. Now, they were right.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
Billy G and the boys.
Yeah. And so what it resulted in was legislation and rules that said not only can you not use the term pure malt, it doesn't exist anymore, but you also can't put the primary name of a distillery on a blended malt. So you can't release a blended malt with the Lafroig on it because it doesn't just come from Lafroig. So you can't mislead the public by putting a distillery on a blended malt, right? Now, Japan, for some reason, has adopted the pure malt designation. It showed up with Nika had a pure malt. What was Yamazaki? They released a pure malt. And there's a bunch of Japanese distilleries that have attached themselves to this idea of the term pure malt. And I don't know where it's coming from, but that's its Scottish history.
Okay, so
How bored is everybody, you think?
no, it's things. Billy G and the boys.
So taxes.
No, context. Don't you dare. Don't you freaking dare. Because at a certain point, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to learn about the history. This is going to be great. Tax story number 87.
Yeah.
Fuck all of that. No, don't care. No. So
You know what I'm thinking of?
I am sympathetic to, a lot of distilleries, they want to be transparent. But if you're getting really granular and detailed and truly transparent about everything that went into a spirit in the bottle, you very often get to a point where you're just covering the very, very little bit of real estate you have on your labels. You know what I think would be really cool? And this is based entirely on an old technology that people have become more comfortable with since the Rona. is if this is me just thinking out loud, right? It's any number of reasons why I wouldn't have them. But wouldn't it be cool if standard practice of any release was there's a small QR code in the corner, and that QR code basically launched you into a web page where you can see all of those little details, all the transparency stuff.
Yeah.
Because being truly transparent about all of the stuff that's in there, like I get it, you want to describe the whiskey and like the more romantic things for the casual drinker. That's going to likely make them go, oh, I'm going to give this a try. But if you're using all that real estate for dry technical details,
Yeah.
it's like, it's kind of hard to justify that from a lot of distillers' perspectives.
Yeah.
But if there's some little QR code or URL or something where they could have the whiskey nerds be able to jump to that point.
And immediately not have to go searching.
Yes.
But just like, here's everything, guys.
Yeah, and it was just standard. Every time there's a release, there's a QR code to take you to the,
Basically, it's like when you decide you want to buy a car and you can go through and find the specs page.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look, if you care this much,
Yes.
here's the engine spec sheet.
Because I don't think it's realistic for the specs. Well, that's a good word to use.
Don't lead with the specs.
Yeah, you don't lead with the specs. But I think they do need to be accessible.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been 30 minutes banging your head against the wall trying
We
to
teach
find...
this in whiskey school over and over and over. Don't lead with facts and information.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
But definitely have facts and information to reward the insiders who dig that far.
Yeah.
Now,
What did
okay,
you-
so here's what I wanted to show you. It's not the same,
Okay.
but it's the same level of scotch.
This is-
It's same character and same complexity
So-
and same drinkability.
Minus the peat in this one.
Right.
Yeah. And this is, wow. This is the Bryn French whiskey.
No.
It's the
This is-
sweetness in this.
Compass Box Oak Cross.
Put your nose in there and think the sweet tarts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a sugared.
Now try it and you'll taste a little more of the complexity that's in that sort of spiciness, right?
That is, oh yeah. Oh, you got layers to that.
Now this is smokier than that, but see what I mean about the that sort of like, this is an easy drinker at this level.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste the same. This has peat. This doesn't have a dramatic peat leading, but it sort of like lives the same way we compared Tullamore Dew and Johnny Walker Blonde.
Yeah.
It lives in the same family.
Yeah, I agree. They're at the same level. I want to be pissed off and annoyed at this because...
Nah, but it's good.
But it's actually
It actually
good.
tastes good.
Yeah, yeah. That's really the priority is like, is it good in the glass?
Yeah.
It's frustrating you can't get the backstory, but if it's good in the glass, it's good in the glass. We have...
We already sort of went long. We want to keep going?
Stefan Schwallenberg. I fully
Oh.
expected regression to childhood from Rex when the subject of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came up, but not from Daniel.
I know. I don't know. You
Not
know why I'm
from
so...
Daniel.
Because I didn't really get to watch that much TV as a kid.
Yeah.
But for some reason, morning cartoons before school was fine. Like that was always fine. And we would actually wake ourselves up early, like an hour and a half to 2 hours before school. We could have like 5:30, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So that we could watch the morning cartoon run
Sure.
before we had to go to school. And it was, the Ninja Turtles was in there, G.I. Joe was in there.
Very reasonable, yeah.
Muppet Babies was in there.
Yeah.
Like, these were our...
So,
yeah.
which turtle were you?
Well, so this is really ridiculous.
Don't
but
say
I've-
Splinter.
No, I've thought this since I was a kid.
You're not Splinter.
I wanted
You're
to
April
be...
O'Neil.
Yeah, right. No, I always wanted to be Michelangelo
Michelangelo, okay.
because he was like the cool, pizza and like, no
Right,
big
the-
deal, right?
yeah, the
but I
nunchucks.
always sort of figured I was Donatello.
I was Donatello.
Yeah.
God.
And I always felt like I wanted to be the cool guy. Michelangelo was just a
Right.
party guy.
Right.
But if I was being honest with myself, I'm just Donatello.
Yeah.
Who just sort of was like trying to keep it all together.
No, I was all Donatello.
Yeah.
But I think it was a little bit more of a utilitarian reason because me and the boys and the boys and the neighborhood get on our skateboards, which we did, and we had our Ninja Turtle weapons.
Stick is easier to replace.
It's just basically a broom handle.
Yeah.
And like I pretty much have a real bow staff.
Yeah.
And you got like pretend nunchucks and
Yeah, no, this
you know,
take work.
And then you got like a wooden spoon as your size, like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then a katana. It's like not even a little katana.
No.
Yeah. But the bow staff was look. I may be Donatello, but if you really went at it, I could wreck all of you.
Yeah. I just find it funny that my dichotomy, even at like 10 or 11, was that I had to be honest with myself about who I was versus who I wished I was. Like already at 11, I'm like, I really wish I was that guy, but let's be honest.
I'm a Donatello.
I'm a Donatello. Like, I'm not dreaming
Right.
of who I could be.
The Whiskey Vault really is just like 2 Donatellos make good. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, a fight for a friend.
Steal, may you steal your lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.